I had an interesting experience after the last stream. I didn't really feel like I put forth a good stream at all that night. I was kind of down on myself about it. I'm routinely my own biggest critic. A couple nights later, I sat down and decided, hey, I'm going to see if I can salvage some clips from it. And I ended up getting a few good clips out of it and really feeling a lot better about myself after watching the VOD. And it kind of made me realize that if I were to give any advice to anyone just starting out as a VTuber or even just a streamer, I would definitely say be your own clipper for a while. Even if you can afford to hire somebody to do your clipping for you, be your own clipper for a while, because it lets you sit down and really watch your own content from the perspective of your own viewers. And that can be very eye-opening as to what your content can actually look and, kind of feel like while you're watching it that you don't really get while you're the one streaming. And it's a really good antidote, so to speak, for some of the self-deprecation and self-doubt that can set in when you're just starting out as a streamer, or even just when you kind of doubt yourself as a content creator. It worked wonders for me, and so that's kind of my advice for anybody that has those kinds of doubts. Watch your own content. Do your own clips for a while. It definitely helps give you some additional perspective that you otherwise wouldn't have. I'm glad I did. Yeah, I just kind of had to get that out there as a PSA because I came out of the last stream not feeling like it was the best. And I think a little bit of self-doubt as a streamer is natural. Whether you're just starting out or maybe you're kind of your own critic. That's more the category that I fall into. I find that anything that can counterbalance that, especially in a very honest way, like just going back and watching your own content, is a really good thing. Kind of helps you build the confidence that you need to continue. The thing with streaming is it can take a lot out of you, but it's also invigorating, and those seem like conflictive statements. But those two statements exist in the same space together. Usually the times that you feel less up to streaming are the times that you need to stream the most, because it's the charge that you get from streaming that you currently lack in that moment that makes you feel like you can't stream. Yes, that's very cyclical logic, but it can also it can breed the most proactive and productive mindset you can imagine, and it can also lock you into a holding pattern where you're not streaming and you can't bring yourself to stream. You really have to keep an eye on yourself through times like that, because you don't want to get caught in basically a low energy spiral where you can't bring yourself up to stream and you're not giving yourself the energy that you get from going live and engaging with your community and having fun doing the things that you ordinarily would stream. Once you learn how to monitor and operate within that framework, streaming becomes much, much, much easier. But it's all about forming habits. Like, I'm not in the best place to be saying that because I know I've been going 2, 3, 4 days without going live myself since I debuted. But I've also been in those situations where it's like invigorating, and the energy you build through one stream carries over into the next and into the next and into the next. And the next thing you know, you're stacking 5, 6, 7 days on top of each other and building your community and making better and better content because you're figuring out in the moment what you're good at, what you're best at, what people resonate with. And if you turn that into an actual habit, you're well on your way. I've still got a long way to go, but I've had a taste of it as Yoru Reiji. I've had tastes of it in past endeavors. The real lesson that you need to learn from it is to just keep it pushing and embrace that energy and embrace that charge that you get from it, because it will carry you through multiple streams and it will carry you to a career as a streamer if you really run with it. Yeah, obviously, your health comes first, and it's a shame that sometimes that momentum that you can build up can get derailed by just a day or two of really feeling awful. And I've been there too. I would say in times like that, it's just best to remember the charge that you got from streaming so that when your health does get in the way, it doesn't lead to a more prolonged state of not feeling up to streaming. Because the way streaming, at least in my experience, the way streaming affects your mental state, the way it affects, honestly, some elements of your physical state, it's very momentum based. So if I streamed yesterday, I want to stream today, I want to stream tomorrow. If I take a day off, it's really easy to talk myself into taking another day off, and another day off. Monitoring that within yourself is probably the most important piece of advice I could give anyone who is a streamer or wants to be. Because the best thing that you can do for yourself, within reason of course, like I said, your health always comes first. But after I have a day where I was just genuinely too tired to stream, I found it very easy to talk myself into being too tired to stream the next day. It is an eternal game of energy momentum, I'll call it. Energy momentum. Streaming actively makes you want to stream more actively. Taking time off makes you want to take more time off. And I think to some extent that can lead people to stop streaming altogether because it is genuinely more relaxing to not go live. But you then just have to decide whether you want to regain your energy by resting or regain your energy by going live and getting that charge out of that. I haven't figured it out. That's why I haven't put any kind of streaming streak together since I debuted over 10 days ago now. But I'm trying. It's good to have goals. There was just that moment of clarity when I was making those last clips for the YouTube channel where I realized, you know, this completely changed my perspective of the last stream. For the better. For the best, really. And if I hadn't done that, I would have still been pretty down on myself over how the last stream went. Even though going back and watching it from the perspective of a viewer completely turned me around on it because as the streamer, I just didn't feel like it went that well. But then I got some pretty good clips out of it. And if I hadn't done that, I'd probably still be kind of bummed out.